Tawk. Hey, Chief. Good morning.
Good morning.
You have sunshine.
I certainly do. It's just going to get brighter. I was in the shade a second ago.
Well, I got sunshine too. It's raining here.
You're bringing the
I,
sunshine this
I'm
morning.
bringing the sunshine. Um, I was just sharing the live out with some of our friends, kicking off Coffee Talk on this Saturday morning. I think this is our third sesh, right?
Number three. Yep. Third time.
You guys got your coffee? It's Coffee Talk with Sunny and Chief. Good morning. Good morning for the sunny side of the ranch. That's right, my friend. No matter where you are, sunny side. Got to find your sunny side. So how we doing, Chief?
Doing good. I found a little park. I'm in Rock Island, Illinois right now at the Black Hawk State Park, right outside the John Hauberg Indian Museum. So, quiet
Fantastic.
little spot.
Nice.
Yeah, good service and everything.
So look at him go, guys, right? I'm still waiting for this coffee to hit. Just hit right. Get this day started and get some positive vibes flowing. Good morning, Rich. How are you, my friend? It's nice to see our friends pop in this morning. You guys are amazing. Amazing. So I
Yeah, you
appreciated you
are.
all joining
I
us
need to
last night for our Veterans Night Live. And this morning we are coffee talking our way through, kicking off the weekend with some vibes, hopefully some positive vibes coming in here this morning. But we had a good live, I thought.
Yeah, it was awesome. We had a pretty good turnout, really good crowd in attendance last night.
I thought so too. I thought so too. And I think week after week, we're finding that, new faces are coming in, which is really awesome. So the word is getting out. So you guys keep sharing with your friends. I love that. I'd like to see revisiting faces too. And if you notice that any of our friends are not joining, check in on them, see what's going on. Say, hey, we missed your face. Thanks for sharing, Chief. Yes,
Right.
guys, please share it out. Have our friends join us for coffee talk. I hope you guys have your cup of coffee. You got anything special this morning, Chief?
I don't actually. I got some gas station coffee, not my number one choice this morning. No creamer even. And then I also have a mocha Dunkin' iced coffee on the side and some water, of course. Got to stay hydrated.
Don't know, teleprompter. Good morning. It's coffee talk. I will say, as far as coffee is concerned, Sunny is picky. Like, I have to have a good cup of coffee, or I'm that girl that will dump it down the drain and make a new one. So,
I'm gonna
I
tell you what, War Eagle's giving me a hard time, and I'm not gonna lie to you. Um, the coffee, especially Navy Chiefs and coffee, is a stereotype that's like a true one, and such that when I was closing on my house, I went and got a coffee and didn't drink it before I got there. But I'm sitting at the closing table, and my realtor was a Navy guy, an old friend from back home who we actually visited while I was in the military. Long story short, I took a drink from my coffee at closing, and it was just straight grounds of coffee, straight sludge. And because he was military, I sat there and I drank it because I didn't want to say anything because the chief should, we drink sludge. Our coffee cups never get washed. They're perfectly stained, seasoned, just right. And I was getting so sick and I just sat there and drank it. At the end of it, I said, Zach, I want you to know that my pride forced me to drink this coffee. And it was straight. And I showed him. He's like, oh my gosh. Yeah.
I
True
will
story.
say, so I've heard of the sludge, of course. I don't know how Sunny would do with it, but I guess you guys can all challenge me. Maybe at the next meetup, War Eagle, we can have some sludge. What do you think about that? See how Sunny does with that. Um,
We'll see how you do.
and we'll see
Probably
how
as
I
good
do
as
with the
you with
sludge.
chewing tobacco.
I know my son does the chewing tobacco. He has that wad in his mouth. I've never tried that. Um, but I will say, Chief makes a badass cup of coffee. Just saying, just saying. Makes a badass cup of coffee. And coffee is life for Sunny, guys. I don't know. I don't know what I would do without it. I'll be honest with you. Gotta have my coffee. Gotta have coffee. So let's talk a little bit about recapping last night. I thought it was a good live. We had a really good conversation last night on our Veterans Live. One of the things that kind of stuck out to Sunny was, you know, we're still trying to fit in somewhere. It still is a challenge for many.
It is. I think often, like, we're raised to get our parents' approval, and then we want to make friends, and we really change who we are to make other people happy. And we do that so much that we get stuck in that sometimes, and we lose track of who we are. And it can take forever to get back to who we are because at this point, we've got people around us that we like, but we don't know if they'll like us if we're just ourselves. Like me, I cuss a lot. Obviously, I do the plant medicine. I like to listen to my music loud. I can be a bit rambunctious and crazy. So I might be a bit much for a lot of people, or even too positive sometimes, where they're like, take your fucking energy down the road. Too early for you. But
Yeah,
I find comfort in being myself. I spent so long doing what I was told and following instructions and trying to get good at making other people happy, whether that was in relationships, in my job, um, even as a parent or on Facebook. You know what I'm talking about? Like you try to get you mentioned it on the live, getting that perfect picture when in
yeah,
reality like my kid's got the bloody fucking lip. One of them's screaming. I'm about to have a fucking anxiety attack. My dad's in the corner laughing. That's real life. Like when
yep,
I see those, I'm like, that's a real person. Because I've met so
yep.
many of those families and those people that are very appearingly everything is going great. They've got the
Perfect.
beautiful house, the cars, the job. But then if you ever sit down and talk to them, like a lot of them will come to me because they're like, fuck, man, I'm drinking every night. This shit looks perfect, but I stand by the pool and I've got real world problems. And that shit is out of our control, especially if you've got children or a significant other, a job, anything can throw that off. And it's such a struggle just to try to keep up the appearance of being happy, let alone find the time to work on yourself and your family or friend group.
Well, are you truly working on yourself when you're working so hard to fit into this perfect picture? No, you're not.
If
You're
you're not,
struggling.
if you're just doing it for the picture and what people think, you're not doing it for you at all,
Right.
unless you're
But
posting pictures of, yeah, go ahead.
no, I was just going to say, I think I fell into that category for quite a few years of my life, guys, as a parent, the Facebook picture, right? You have to look picture perfect. The pictures have to look great and life looks perfect. Bullshit. I actually had this conversation with my oldest. And one of the things I try to teach my children is just be who you are. The right people will find you and you're going to match that energy. But when you're working so hard to fit into a specific group of people or look like you got your shit all together, perfect kids. There are no perfect kids. There are no perfect people. Yes, they pick their nose right before you take a picture and do all kinds of crazy things. And that's the reality. And I think one of my regrets in my parenting was, geez, I missed a lot of amazing opportunities to really truly enjoy their silliness because I was so concerned with taking that perfect picture. You know, those probably would have been the best Christmas cards to send out, as they were pinching each other or elbowing each other or doing their crazy stuff. And I'd spend so time being mad at them for being kids, you know? And I'm comfortable with talking about it because I still see it out there, guys. And I still see friends doing this to their kids. And I'm like, just enjoy them because they grow up so fast. They truly do. Um, but back to fitting in, Chief, you're so right. We spend the majority of our life, and I don't know why this happens in society. We're always trying to fit into a specific role, whether it be parenting, employee, spouse, friend, you name it. And at the end of the day, when you reach hopefully you reach a certain part in life where you're like, I'm not happy. Have I ever truly been happy other than trying to fit into a specific, ideal picture of what I'm supposed to be as a mother, as an employee, so on and so forth. And when you start to come out, guys, you start to come out of that place and you start to really be your true self. Let me tell you, it feels freeing to you, but those around you are going to challenge you. They're going to think something's wrong with you. We've talked about this. People think something's wrong with me. She's like, Mom, what's going on with you? And Mom, you got tattoos. And Mom, what's going on? I'm like, I'm not having a midlife crisis. Mom's finally living for mom, and I'm still maintaining my values, my core values, staying true to myself, and just trying to be myself, my authentic self, not what someone else thinks I should be.
Yeah, I think my dad demonstrated that very well for me, and he did it to the extreme. For example, like his mustache, I talk about this a lot, was huge. It would come down, it would go around his ears, and he could like twist it here. So that thing was like this, huge. And he had long hippie hair, and he would just say what he wanted. He was very funny, but he would keep people smiling, and he'd be open, and he'd be his authentic self. And he always rooted for the underdog, which is probably why I am, obviously the way I am. But he taught me to make my own opinion of people based on what they showed me, not about what other people told me about them, because we all have our own story. We've all been through some type of shit. We've all been in trouble at some point or been the bad guy in someone's eyes at some point. So you never really know what they've been through or why this happened or that. You've just heard things. So he taught me to look at how they treat you, how they respect you or whatever, and match that.
Absolutely. We talk a lot about matching energy. At this point, I think our whole SSOF fam understands what that means. But for those of you just joining us today, welcome to Coffee Talk with Sunny and Chief. This is our third episode on Saturday morning, having real talk, real conversations with just things that affect any one of us at any given time. And the topics do vary, and sometimes we revisit topics. And we always welcome your input. If there's something you'd like us to talk about, put it in the comments, DM us, and say, hey guys, you want to talk about this? I'm going through this, but I don't know how to handle it. And maybe collectively we can offer some suggestions, which brings me to another thing. We talked a little bit yesterday too, and I know I spoke to you personally, and I said, um, no one should ever be telling you how to operate your life. You're in the driver's seat of your life. True friends will challenge you and leave you with open ended questions. You should be answering those questions. A friend should listen. A friend should ask you specific questions to get your mind going so you know how to best answer the questions for yourself. But when you have friends and people in your life, not just say friends, but family, anyone telling you you should do this, and your response should be like, no, I shouldn't. It's my life, guys. And too often, I think at some point or another, we've gotten stuck in that place of people telling us how to do something, you know, and honestly, they should be more focused on what they need to do in their own life.
That's a fact. And that's a really hard one, right? Because those people in your life that hold you accountable and call you out on your bullshit at the time, they really do seem like an asshole. And I've had some of those people in my life, and I've been that person in probably more people's lives, especially when I'm just trying to be honest and real. And I don't want to see people go through some of the same things that I did. And, you know, that's really on us. We have to be accountable for our own friend group, for our own tribe, because if we're surrounding people who enable us to continue our bullshit, for example, me when I was drinking every day, yeah, the shirt, yep, Sunny Side of Freedom Tribe. But when I was drinking every day and hanging out with the same friends that were there with me, encouraging it, challenging me to do more and more and more, that was my choice to surround myself with those folks. And I made some changes in my life. I saw Chris's comment. He said, I don't have time to work on me when I'm trying to keep everything from falling apart. I feel that. I really do. But when I relate to that feeling, I realized I was living a repeated life. Every day was basically the same. I did the same shit every day. I still went to my buddy's driveway and did the drinking, and my life was a mess, and I was trying to keep it together. And guess what? On Facebook, it looked like my shit was together. But in reality, ended up divorced, an alcoholic, didn't get to see my kids, lost all my shit. And it wasn't until I made the change for myself that everything stopped falling apart. Because at the end of the day, you can't hold that shit up by yourself forever. If it's falling apart and you're making the same mistakes, it's gonna fall apart on its own. You're just delaying the inevitable. It's not until you make the necessary actions, which are inside of you, to do the right things. Maybe it's stop using anger. Maybe it's just be quiet in your responses sometimes. Maybe it's stop drinking. Maybe it's stop abusing drugs. Whatever the case, maybe it's stop cheating in your relationship. I don't know. But you have to be the one to stop it. You know what
Yep.
I mean? You have to be the one that says, I'm not going to hang out with this person, or I'm not going to do this gossip shit anymore. It's on you to surround yourself with those people that will support you in that change. And like you alluded to earlier, if you've been a certain way a long time, people aren't going to see the new you and they're going to challenge you that that's not even you. They're like, bullshit, we've been drinking for 4 years. You're just an alcoholic like me. Well, if you want to make the change, you'll show them different, one day at a time. And you know what happens? More than likely, if they don't get on board with you, they'll go to the wayside. But guess what? New people that embrace your new you and lifestyle in a more positive fashion will show up in your life and they'll be there. And they don't even have to say shit. You can see it through their actions. They'll be the ones reaching out, they'll be the ones messaging or coming over or inviting you to do things.
100%. You are 100%. You added so much value in that response, by the way. I don't even think I could top that one, but there's so much truth there. Holding yourself accountable for the choices you make. Too often it's easy to point the finger and say, well, they were coming over. Well, you always have a choice, guys. You are in the driver's seat of your life. And yes, in response, I think you said it was Chris, it's hard. It's not easy. It's not easy to finding that balance, but something we often talk about is finding the time. Take 5 minutes, take 10 minutes. I've often referred to the fact that I'll sit in my driveway sometimes before walking in the house because I know what I'm walking into. And that's any one of us. You got dogs barking, it's that stimulation, right? Like overly stimulating after getting out of work. And you're just like, I'm not ready for kids to ask me what's for dinner. I'm not ready for any of that. Or the dogs that just want to be pet, right? I'm not ready yet because I haven't decompressed. And decompression looks very differently for so many of us. Some of us have, the opportunity to go for a walk after work and decompress. I don't always have that luxury. I come home and I do sit in my car, and sometimes my daughter will text me and say, "Are you coming in?" I'm like, "Soon." You know, doing what you need to do to take care of your mental health really should be and isn't at the very top of our list because you're good to absolutely no one. And I sincerely mean this. If I come in, and that could be for you, Chief, or any one of us, if I come in after getting out of work, either I'm tired or frustrated, I'm carrying all of it in, I'm not really leaving it at the door. I'm walking in with that energy. And it's not fair to your pets. It's not fair to your family. It's not fair to anyone involved, even your friendships, right? Just kind of like going into the workplace. That holds true there too. Leave it at the door. Same. So why aren't we doing that when we come home? Take the time you need to take care of you and then come in because that I think used to be one of my bigger issues. I was go, 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 go. I was stressed out with work. I was coming in and the kids, the questions, what's for dinner? I have practice. Imagine that you're getting dumped on all day long. You're gonna bust in one way or another, whether it's lashing out at the kids and having to then apologize for how you responded to them because you're human and you could only handle so much, or whatever the case may be. But um, I did see your commentary. I've been their brother, and I've had to focus on myself first. Most definitely, Steve. And we can't reinforce that message enough. And yes, drinking seems to be, and I did touch base on this last night on my live, the numbing, right?
I think it's a common one, especially for veterans. It's not just acceptable, but it's almost tradition. And we're so competitive that we get good at it. We practice numbing that pain every day and we build up that tolerance to alcohol and we callous our heart, so to speak. I know I did. I got pretty careless. And when I think about what that meant I can look back now and see the poor judgment calls that I had made. But like I mentioned at the time, I was just doing what was right for me. But when I stopped putting my energy towards that and towards myself, and that's like, again, diet, not drinking, which was hard. I had to do a transition to stop, but it's a mindset shift. You have to think of things as opportunity. You can't just look at life as misery, or that's where you're going to get stuck. The more that you focus on the negative, the more negative shit happens, the more negative shit surrounds you, and you can get really effing stuck in there. And you have to make that change inside of you in your head, and be grateful for your fucking all the horrible shit that's happened to you. Be grateful for that trauma because it made you a badass, but you also learned. And it's like raising children. Like with my kids, I raised them when they got in trouble. You either get smart and not do it, or you get strong because daddy's going to make your ass work out until I'm tired because child abuse laws. So, they
I do.
practiced, and they most like Bubba, he got super strong, he got jacked. But I think my point is what you practice, you get good at. And I think that we get impatient with ourselves, like with snowmobiling. I couldn't figure it out in a day. I couldn't figure it out in 2 days. And I felt like the biggest dumbass in the effing world. But if I went snowmobiling every day against my will, eventually I'm going to get pretty good at it, you know? And it's the same with self improvement. Every day that you practice, even just a little bit, that can be just focus on your breathing when you're starting to get anxiety and help overcome. Last night's live, we listened to stories of folks about shit that they'd been overcoming throughout the week. A lot of shit happens in life out of our control, good and bad. But it's how we respond and react to that,
Hmm.
And 4 points in here, he was having a rough time, but we are able to just watch how he overcomes that, how
Yep.
he makes a plan, asks for help, he talks about it, but then he takes action to get through it. And you have to stay positive because it's too fucking easy to get stuck in the negative. Getting stuck
Hmm.
in the negative leads to a personality change. Like a bad day can turn into a personality trait really quick if you don't get a hold of it.
Yes, 100%. That practice word, we all hate practice. I think that's why they probably put it with all sports, right? Practice. It's hard. Practice is intended to be hard, guys. But the more you practice and the more consistent you are in doing something, the easier it becomes. Just like having a positive mindset. People have often asked me, Sunny, how come you're always so positive? Sunny, why are you so positive? I'm like, I had to work at this. Do you think this shit came easy? I used to be a negative Nelly. Hello, my mother's like queen of negative Nellies. So I learned from her. I learned that, life is hard all the time. There's nothing pleasant. It's just hard. Parenting is hard. Going to school is hard. And Sharon, I feel your pain, my friend. But keep at it. Just like what Chief was saying, I too did the snowmobiling and felt like a complete freaking idiot. Like I can't operate this thing and all I keep doing is hurting myself and falling. Well, the second day wasn't as bad. I still I think I fell once at the end, but the point is, the more you do something and easier it gets, but yes, the gratitude comes with it because you have to also practice being grateful for the shit. The shit gets you to a new place, which is that perspective, that opportunity. Now we talk about that snowmobiling experience we had. I'm grateful I had the experience. I challenged myself beyond something that I thought I could even survive getting through, to be quite honest with you. I don't know how I came home without broken bones, but I'm grateful for everything that's happened in my life. And I know people think you're crazy when you say that, whether it be domestic violence, whether it be whatever the hell it is, guys. Be grateful for your trauma. And I know that sounds crazy to you, but be grateful for it because it's molding you into the person you need to be. And sometimes I've also said how, well, the why me? Why does this shit keep happening to me? Aren't I done? Haven't I had enough? I mean, we hear these questions. The truth is, no, you're not done. You're never done. We're continually evolving. We're continually being we're a better version today than I was yesterday based on our experiences, based on those interactions that we have. And I'm hoping that we're adding value, not just into our own lives, but the lives around us. But positive mindset is really hard. You got to work at it. It's how you look at that cup. Is it filled? Is it empty? And realistically, Chief, I mean, we've even talked about it with the group, with the fam, yeah, our cups get empty, guys. They get empty. We just got to work extra hard. And sometimes, guess what? I got to reach out to a friend and say, I need your help today. I'm in a funk. And there's nothing wrong with doing that. But know who you're reaching out to. Is that person going to fill your cup or help empty it even further? So know who you're reaching out to. If you're already in a negative mindset, you don't need another negative Nelly. I'm just going to tell you, that's called the pity party. That's just what that is. It's somebody who's going to pity with you, and that's not helping you grow where you are. That's not doing anything for you. You want that friend that's going to challenge you. Like, I'll challenge Chief. I'll challenge any one of you, and I hope you'll do the same for me. Be like, Sunny, well, what did you do about that? Or if my best friend tells me that she repeated something and it's still not working in her favor, my best my best line is, and how's that working out for you? I don't have to say anything else. Let her answer that. How's that working out for you?
Absolutely. You touched on a lot of stuff there. That was really great. But like you mentioned at the end, you are a great friend, and I'm going to give an example of how our friendship works. So we have the live. You have your veteran live. I did like the music live. We do the coffee talk, but we do like a lessons learned. We do a recap feedback session. Ew, I got a gnat in my mouth after each one of those, and we use that, like as honest, constructive feedback to improve. And you've always asked like, well, what do you think? And you're always, how can I improve this? And you kind of walk through it. But just I think it was yesterday or the day before, we were talking on the phone, and you had mentioned that I should start doing educational videos for 420 Chief. And I was like, holy shit, you're right. It does look like I'm just out here having a good time and getting some stories out. But the whole purpose behind what I'm doing, I don't think I'm not demonstrating that very well. So you gave me the idea to do like a fun fact Friday, which just spurred tons of ideas in my mind. But that was very well received. And I think instantly people are like, hold on a second. Chief isn't just out to party. He's got some information. What is it? And I have so much. But I wouldn't have thought to do that yesterday or the way that I did without having that constructive conversation with you about here's what's going on. Because a lot of times I think we have great ideas and we have our purpose and our passion, but we don't know how to put the words to it or necessarily take the next course of action. But when you have a good friend group that you can trust, not someone who's never done this shit before, like you don't want to talk to your buddy Greg in the alley about physical therapy if he's never done it. You want to talk to a physical therapist. But I think having that conversation with a trusted friend, like I did with you, it really helped improve the words and show that to other people.
Thank you. Um, and you're right, Chief. Guys, if your friends are your true friends, someone you call a friend, they should always challenge you. Always. Because I want to see my friends grow. That's it. It's like planting a field of flowers, seeds. You're planting those seeds. And by the way, did we get Rob Hanks in here? Guys, continue sharing the live. Keep tapping that screen. We've got to get to 22 in half an hour. So let's go. Um, and welcome if you're just joining us. But when you plant seeds, you want to watch them grow. Well, that's like a friendship. If I call you a friend, right, that means I've planted a seed there. I'm invested in you. So what am I going to do? Sit back and not watch you grow? I want to watch you grow. I want to see you succeed. I'm that friend. I am that friend because I'm going to enjoy watching your journey. Sometimes I'll have friends say to me, "Well, Sunny, don't forget me." I'm like, "How could I?" You know, it's we don't forget our friends. We don't forget that what we need to do in the role we play. Our friendships should always want to challenge each other. I want to see amazing things happen. Or if I see that, you know what, I don't think he's aware of this. I'm going to bring it to your attention. Of course, always be respectful in your delivery. It's all about that delivery, by the way, in messaging. Sometimes people will say things to you and I'm like, well, you could have phrased it a little differently because it came across as judgment and not love, not coming from a loving place. And I recently had this conversation with my oldest. And I said, well, are you sharing this with me out of love and concern? Or are you sharing this information with me because you're judging me? Because that's when I shut down the conversation. You know, um, when I call you family, I mean it. Absolutely, Rich.
Important.
Go ahead, Chief. You're in and out a little bit.
I was just gonna
That's okay.
But
It's
when
okay.
you said it's all in how you say it, I used to think that I was being good because I was being honest with people. But I was being so brutally honest with people that I was hurting feelings. And I was like, but say what you mean and mean what you say. Till one day someone said, yeah, say what you mean what you say, but don't say it mean. And it blew
Right.
my effing mind. I was like, fuck, it is all in the approach. Like,
Yep.
for example, I have kids. I can always use them. And my oldest son sometimes will look at my youngest and say, stop being a pussy. And I'm like, Jesus, like that is not a good approach. And then I look, I'm like, he is being kind of a wuss here or there, but he's never going to stop acting like that if he's being approached the way that his brother approaches him.
Right.
He's just going to ignore his brother, be like, he doesn't care. He's an insensitive prick. Dad raised him harder than me or whatever. And it's not going to be received well. And I think that
Yeah.
a lot of times the way we tell people things, if we come out of the gate harsh, like I tend to do this. This is something that I have to constantly work on with people like my mother, and sometimes my kids after a stressful day, but in how um, I present whatever to them, how I respond to them. And then how do you bring something up if it upset you with them,
Mm-hmm.
especially while you're upset? That takes a tremendous amount of practice. And
Yep.
like just I was raised, children were made to be seen, not heard, and I was just yelled at all the time. I was just yelled at. I don't know if we ever talked. I don't think so. I don't remember that. I played baseball a lot with my dad, catch, mom yelled,
Mm-hmm.
but now it's like how do I have a conversation with her if I don't feel I've ever been heard? It makes
Yep.
me just want to say, I don't want to fucking talk to you. Like stop fucking talking to me. And so now trying to express myself in a tactful, a nice way is very, very difficult and takes a lot of practice. And it honestly doesn't always work at the time, but I think the more that you do that, you build that and let people know, communicate your feelings in a nicer way, then I think that that helps. But it does, like
Yeah.
anything else, take time, practice, effort.
Yep. Practice, effort. You have to be determined, guys. And hi, Danielle. Welcome to Coffee Talk with Sunny and Chief. And for anyone else that's joined us, welcome to Saturday Morning Coffee Talk with Sunny and Chief. This is our third episode. Happy you're here. Happy you have joined us. And I hope you have a good cup of coffee. We're just having some real talk, recapping, talking on the topic at the moment is, gratitude, even being grateful for those things that have hurt, not felt so good. But that's where we grow, guys. We grow from those places, believe it or not. Um, be determined in your actions. Your actions will always speak louder than your words, and there's so much truth no matter what it is. If I say I trust you, I should lead and show you and demonstrate what that means versus just saying those words. Words are empty without backing them up with an action. Keep practicing. It's that consistency. And I know Chief and I, and all of you, by the way, I'm going to give you a little shout out and say you're consistent in what you're doing. You're not planking with us, some of you, you're not push upping with us, but you're consistent in everything you do. When you say, I support you, and you're demonstrating what that looks like, you're showing up to the videos, you're leaving your love, you're sharing, you're duetting, because there's a message there. And yesterday, someone, and I'm just going to quickly touch base on this, someone had said, what are you all doing? Because somebody had you duetted me, Sunny Days. She's not here this morning. Um, we always miss your faces, by the way. We get used to you guys, and if we don't see you, we're gonna call you. I'll be like, "Where are they? We miss them. Send them a share." Um, and somebody duetted her and asked the question, "What are you all doing?" So I immediately responded, started answering some questions, and she's like, "Oh." I said, "It's not just the plank. It's not the action of what we're doing necessarily, although it's important, Um, it's the messaging, it's the consistency, it's the demonstrating of what that looks like. If I said I'm going to be here every day, I'm going to be here every day unless something happens. And then I should have the courtesy. That's another word, the courtesy to let you know, because I know that I'm going to disappoint you if I don't show up. And yes, it's happened where friends have reached out to me. Hey, Sunny, you good today? Your video is not out yet. Like today, I have not done my plank video yet. So those are your friends that you want to keep close by. because they will notice changes in you and they're going to check in on you to make sure you're good. But they're also holding you accountable in a really sweet way. They're like, hey, you haven't done your plank yet. Let's go, without saying that, you know? And I've actually talked to Chief. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so late on my video today. He's like, well, you better get to it, you know?
Yep.
Awesome work.
And
Or
you
daddy.
know, that is such that's such a hard topic too. Is sometimes I'll meet someone or I'll get in a some type of arrangement. Maybe they're going to help me work on something, or even a paid service, and I'm all pumped up about it. And then, I've got this rapport with them. Even if there's money involved, I'm excited, and it just breaks me down every time they don't match my expectation. Maybe they will wait forever to start on it, and you have to constantly be reminding them,
Hmm.
or maybe they don't even do it at all. Or it's such a letdown because you'll meet people all the time that you might excite them with your energy, and they'll want to get on your level, but then they don't show up. And I think the hardest part about when you're being honest with yourself and you're looking at that action, that demonstrated action that you talk about, especially from your peers, friends, and family, you see the truth. There's no words necessary. You see the truth. Like you see who's doing work because they can show it to you.
Yeah.
If they don't, then they let you know. They don't just no call, no show or not deliver. They communicate to you. And not, maybe I don't even need an excuse. I don't even need a reason. I just want to know that you're okay. We're still on the same page. Everything's good to go. If there's any shift to that, I like communication. And I find that there's so many people that get excited to do things with you and they're afraid to just be fully honest with you. Like, hey, you know what?
Yeah.
Maybe I bit off more than I could chew. Maybe I'm not capable of doing this. Maybe I don't have the time. Maybe I just don't really fucking want to. I've got more important things. Say that up front. Be honest.
Yeah. And there's so much truth in what you just shared. I'm that person too, guys. You know, I think that's why our energies have always like, oh, that was easy. You know, you just find those people and it's like, wow, tribe, you know, it's like, I have never had to feel like I'm requesting you to match my energy. You're just always there. And I think I'm doing the same for you. And that's hard, guys. That's hard to find those people, your friendships, and even in family, you know, the familial relationships that we have. So you have to lean into those relationships that really truly match your energy. You know, they're going to be honest with you. Honesty is key. Don't sell me something, show me something. Anybody can talk a good game, and it sounds great because what it does is it disappoints you and it disappoints the other person. And now you've lost credibility. And that's worse. You know, just be honest, upfront and honest, and be like, I can't do this. And this is why. I'm going to respect you so much more than if I'm blown off, right? Nobody likes to be blown off because that says you're not important enough to me for me to send you a 2 minute text or a phone call. And that's worse because now my friendship with you is being redefined and I know where I fit in. So, you know, and I'm not going to take away that people are going through something. And I also, I just saw Danielle. She's been struggling for the last few months. My girl, you got this. I know you got this. You know, we go through seasons of life where it's just shit and it's hard, but you got this. You just keep fighting, you know, you keep rolling with them punches. And I know that sounds ridiculous because we say it so often. I say it so often, but that isn't that life though. All right, what do we got today? What's going to come rolling my way that I just got to punch my way through it to get my smile back or my positive mindset? And there are days, guys, I can't find it. And I've talked to Chief. I'm like, I couldn't do it today. I was in a funk. It was like that fake it till you make it kind of day. Got through my work day. It was productive. I did the mama thing. And I just couldn't do it. And before we close out today, we do have a 20 minutes, so I was obviously like to leave it off on a positive note. How do we overcome those challenges? How do we overcome those personal challenges, especially? And Danielle, I feel your pain, sweetheart, because I too have children, and I know I'm struggling right now with my relationship with my almost 16-year-old daughter. We're like this every opportunity. I don't know even what to do. I think sometimes I'm just breathing and I'm like, oh my God, this is so exhausting. And it hurts. It hurts me. And it's hard being a parent, just as But we're sending you love.
So much more as a parent from my kids, just watching them, watching me with them. Um, I think that's taught me the most valuable life lessons out of everything.
Yeah, most definitely. As a parent myself, 27, 20, my 20-year-old is kind of demonstrating some really great characteristic traits right now, which is he'll give me a hard time, typical 20-year-old. But then he does circle back and starts to hold himself accountable, which, take props, guys, pat yourself on the back because I'm starting to do that and it needs to be done more often when you're like, all right, I'm doing something right. Take credit for those moments because they're important and keep feeding those moments and reinforcing them so more of them happen by saying, you know what, I appreciated that you took the time to come back and talk to me about this or whatever it is. Because one of the criticisms I've received from my children, and I'm not embarrassed to share it with all of you, is when our children, my daughter will say, you're never happy. My son has said it, you're never happy. You always want the A's or you always want this. And here's the hard part, guys. When we see what our children are capable of doing and they're not working to that expectation, I push. I don't overly push, but I push. And my response to them is because I love you and I know that you're capable of more than that. And I don't do it in a mean way. Sometimes what I've said to them is imagine if you actually studied for that test, you'd have straight A's. That's as hard as I'm pushing to hopefully get them thinking. But to them, they see it as she's never satisfied. I'm not failing. Why isn't she happy? Because I'm not settling. And neither should you, you know? So, Nikki Davis, I have missed your face. You were getting a text message today. Just saying. I missed you last night too, girl. So happy you're here. What do you want to add to that?
I think that
Anything?
parenting, like I said earlier, is harder, especially when we're trying to demonstrate with our kids because they're their own people. They have their own free will. They have their own opinion and perceptions of us. And mine don't seem to care about all the other shit that I do when they're not there, behind the
Yeah.
scenes, none of that. And they definitely don't reciprocate the energy of wanting to spend time with me. They would rather play an iPad and then sit there and say they're bored than go to the effing beach with me or like on a hike. I don't
Yep.
understand. It's it's hard. It's I think the hardest thing to do in the world probably is be a good parent. Is to
Yeah.
be fully present with your kids even when they don't want to be with you and stay positive, listening to all the bitching and moaning and whining. And you as a parent already know like how to fix all this, but they can't get that in their own head. Like you're making
Yeah.
your own misery now. That just makes
They
me
don't,
want to join them in making it miserable.
yeah. They don't think we're cool. And that hurts my feelings. I get called cringe more often than not. You're cringe. I'm like, what the hell is cringe? I'm cool. I'm a
I'm
cool
so much
parent.
cooler. I'm so much cooler than my kids. I'm pretty sure they know that. Like, that's no secret. They're lame. They sit and play iPads in dark rooms. I'm out and about extra,
That's right. Well, I'm
doing the
extra
most.
too. I'm like, you want to go kayaking? Or my daughter had her friend over a few times this week. I'm getting out of work and I wanted to decompress. And I'm like, come on the kayaks. And she's like, no, like that's not cool. We're not going to go on the kayak with you. I'm like, what the hell? It's so hard and it shouldn't be that hard. But yeah, my daughter especially thinks I'm cringe and it's okay. One day she's going to realize how cool we really, I am, and your kids are going to realize how cool you really are. Maybe, maybe not, and that's okay. Just keep doing what we're doing. If only they came with manuals.
I mean, we
But
don't even come with manuals, so I don't know.
no, we don't come with manuals. Damn, we've written so many chapters in our lives already, and we did that on our own. Imagine that, guys. We've gotten this far without instruction. It's pretty impressive if you ask me. I think all deserve a pat on the back because this shit's hard. Living it's hard. It's hard, but there's also a lot of beautiful things about life. The people we meet, the imprints that are left behind, the imprints we leave on others. I mean, it's if you really take a moment to count your blessings, count those moments because it's hard sometimes, especially when bad things happen in our lives, to see anything that's positive when maybe something so disastrous has happened that's either A, torn a family apart, there's been loss, and it's hard to redefine what life is supposed to look like without that person in your life. There's so many things. But at the same time, we're here, we have a job to do, and not only for yourself but those around you, keep leading in love and keep leading the way for others. And it doesn't necessarily always need communication. Sometimes it's just demonstration. Keep showing others what that looks like. That's something I'm doing with my kids. I often say mommy's leading in love when they don't understand what I'm doing, and I'm like, just watch, bleed in love. And that means giving of yourself selflessly without expecting anything in return, and how it fills your cup.
Yes, 100%. Get out and do something. I think the hardest part when you don't feel like smiling, you don't feel like doing shit. And this is something that I tell everybody is that you're not going to just magically get motivated one day to do. Like motivation follows action. If you want to get motivated to do something, you first have to do something. Like me,
Hmm.
if I get up and I don't make my bed and I go out to the garage and I jump on TikTok and I do a safety meeting first thing in the morning, didn't even make my bed, I'm already behind the curb. Like in my mind, like Chief knows, when I get up, make the fucking bed, get that first task of the day out of the way, and then it makes the next one easier.
Yeah.
And I I've got to write shit down too, or else I'll put it off. And I don't know. I talked to Scooter a little bit about this, but I think that there's something to the pen to paper method. But if I write everything down, I put a little empty box, I can go check that off throughout the day. And I almost feel like I'm against myself to check these boxes. Like I have to get
Yeah.
it done. If I don't write it down, I can make it less of a priority. I'm like, that shit can slide till tomorrow and then the next day. So it's you've got to identify, the things
Yeah.
that you've got to do, and then you've got to find what works for you to take the action. Because most of the time, you'll find, like if I go in and I just do the dishes, then I'm gonna clean the floor, I'm gonna clean the microwave, I'm gonna clean the cabinets, I'll do some laundry. Like I'm on fire now, I feel good. I'm like, shit. Who am I gonna call and tell them about how motivated my ass was today? Like, Scooter, what you get done today, son?
Yeah.
Or like, hey, Sonny, I won't ever do that. You always get so much shit done, but still, it's fun. And then you share that, and then you share that energy.
Yeah.
But what you did was you took action, motivated yourself, got your shit done, feel good about it, share it with somebody, fill that cup, and it's a cycle. Every day
And
can't
it,
be like that, but you can take
yeah,
action every day through the bullshit, and that's how you overcome too, is taking
absolutely.
actions.
Yep. And I will say there is something to be said when you share with a friend. So if I tell Chief, yeah, I got my list today. I have lists too, guys, my priorities, and then if I get to these things, and I share it with him, like, yeah, my day's looking like this. This is how you hold each other accountable. So, how was your day? Did you ever get a chance to get to A, B, C, and D? What happens is your friendship turns into this, like you're holding each other accountable, but in a very pleasant way. So he knows I'm going to ask those questions. That happens. So even if he didn't feel like getting to it, he's probably going to do it because he knows I'm going to ask.
Don't want to hear that
Right?
shit. Just like when I say, did you call your mom?
Oh shit. That's tomorrow. I think it was last Sunday. I was like, oh shit, I gotta call mom. Actually, I'll send her a text. No, but that's the accountability in your friendships, guys. That's what I'm talking about. It doesn't have to be nasty, it could be a pleasant experience. True friendship is honesty. Be honest with yourself and be honest with your friends. Don't bullshit people because they're going to see right through you. I got to tell you, I tell my daughter this all the time. People will show you who they are. They will show you who they are. Maybe it's right away. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer, but if they show you who they are, believe them. That's what I'm going to tell you. Believe them and keep watching. You know, you do have those friends where, they will do a full circle. I'm not saying give people chances. People can deserve chances, absolutely. But just watch and see. Just watch and see. But don't ever settle for anything that's not bringing value into your life. A true friendship should be honest. It should have a solid foundation of understanding and compassion, being compassion, and don't be such an ass. That's what I'm going to say to you. Don't be such an ass in your delivery. There's no need for that. You can deliver a message with kindness, come from a place of caring versus a hard ass. Although our friends do need those sometimes. I will say that.
That's true. And one other thing I would add to that is something you always say. And I want to call that out because you don't always have to just cut people out, but you can lower their dose. Like you can lower your exposure to them. The amount of times you go visit them, the amount of times you message, even respond.
Yep.
I try to match the energy unless it's just constant like text after text bad, then I'm just gonna be like, I'll get to that when I have the
Yeah.
energy to get to that. But you can, without cutting people out, give them lower doses. And oftentimes that itself will lead to a conversation that can, lead to a decision of we spend more time, more energy with one another or less.
Well, it's small doses, guys.
Right.
Don't be afraid to put people in small doses, family or friends. You know what I'm saying? You got a big job to do. It's taking care of yourself first and foremost. I can't help you if I'm not helping myself. And if I was already in a shitty state, where I feel depleted this morning, and now I'm taking on all this additional, I'm going to have to work extra hard to get myself to a place where I'm functioning in my day. So, I'm not saying don't be a good friend and always be there for your friends. Say what you mean and mean what you say. Lead in your words. Words mean nothing if you're not demonstrating. There's got to be action behind every single word. And that I really truly believe in that. If I say I'm going to be here, I'm going to be here. And if you're not, then let people know. Have the common courtesy and demonstrate what respecting a friendship looks like. Shit happens to all of us. So yeah, life gets in the way, I call it. Life gets in the way. You're running late. Common courtesy. Hey, I'm running 5 minutes late. I'm not going to be able to make it today. I'll fill you in later, because things do happen. And although it might disappoint you, the person took the time to show you your friendship matters to me or your family matters. I'm running late. So it's just that common courtesy, being grateful for all the opportunities that you have throughout your day. And we can't close out this live today without Sunny going there. So I'm going to go there. Hold on 1 second, please.
Is this the song from Trolls?
No,
Good.
what are you
But
talking about?
I did want to say one other thing, though, real quick. Yes, it is the Trolls song.
Come on, Chief. Let's go. I got that sunshine in my pocket.
We got different genres of music that get us pumped, I think. The Troll soundtrack doesn't put the lead in my pencil, if you know what I mean.
All right, all right. Listen. I know you're vibing over there. I'm just saying.
Oh, I'm vibing.
All right, I can totally get into that. And I'll tell you why, because it feels like it was just yesterday that I used to dance and karaoke that with my daughter on her little Hello Kitty karaoke machine. So it brings back positive vibes because music does that. Music does that, guys. Music is a connector, and it'll always bring you back to where you were, good and bad, right? Positive and negative feelings. And so, yes, I will probably play that on every single coffee talk until I get
I'm
sick of
gonna
it.
work.
So,
I'm gonna work in Pantera for sure. But I did want to
and
touch base on one other thing you said earlier.
yeah,
You just hinted at being grateful, and I don't know if people really fully understand how to do that or what that means. But it, for me, is the single most important thing to get me out of a funk. That and breathing, to be honest with you. But do that. Practice gratefulness until you feel it in your heart. And that is something I learned the hard way when I was living off the grid because I had lost everything. I was counting watts because I was using
hmm
generators. So I knew how many watts my coffee took because that was the amount of time that it took away from my generator, how much time the microwave took, every single individual independent light. I was so aware of my intake of electricity, water, it made me very grateful for a long shower, a hot shower,
yeah,
having lights on during the day. Hell, even being level. If you've ever been in a structure that's not straight, like you can be grateful that you're on a flat surface. So, all right, thanks,
bye,
Rob.
Rob. Good luck, Rob.
But I
Touch
think
touch
that
base later.
that made me grateful, like I said, for a hot shower. But every morning when you wake up, if you open your eyes and you can see, that's better than a lot of people had that morning. If you can smell,
He's in and out with service. There you are.
I'm in and out. I'm just
A little
saying,
bit. You're freezing up on me.
think about the things that you have that are given to you every day and don't take them for granted because you could lose anything and everything at any point. So be
Yep.
grateful for everything that you do have. And then
Yep.
it helps change the way you think. That's right, Nikki. Count your blessings.
Every single day, guys. There's so much truth there. Count your blessings. Be grateful for where you are. I too, I think I shared this the other day. There was a time in my life where I was counting pennies, did I have enough pennies to buy diapers? And you look back and you're grateful for those moments because you see where you were and you see where you are and how you got there. And then the hope is that those experiences that at certain times of my life hardened me, right? They hardened me, have also strengthened me and have allowed me to be a little bit more empathetic and caring towards others. And some people don't understand that, but it's not unless you've actually been to that in that place that you can actually empathize, but also know how to hopefully push someone along so they too can overcome those challenges. Overcoming challenges is not easy, guys. It's not. It's not you just put a smile on your face and here we go, positive vibes. It doesn't work like that. It's an every single day challenge, personal challenge, and only you have those answers. Yesterday I touched base on get at the core of your truth. I can't tell you what that is. Only you can. You know the work you have to do for yourself, but that means having to be honest with yourself, and that's holding yourself accountable. And if you have a dear and near friend that you call that tribe, that person, lean into that. They care about you. They want to see you grow where you are and from that place. So, if the message is being delivered respectfully, lean into it, listen to it. And that means they love you, they care about you, or they wouldn't be investing their time into you. Um, Stay away from negative energy. There's plenty of it. That's all I'm going to say. Stay the hell away from it. Cut it loose. Move it over. Small doses. You don't need that. Life is too short, and we have one chance. That's all we get, guys. No dress rehearsals. You got one chance. You're here for a reason. Make it count every single day or do your very best. Choose your friends wisely. We can't pick our families, but we can redefine family as well. I've often said this and I'll continually say this. I have a lot of family. I come from a very large family, and I have to tell you, I don't talk to them. If I see them at a family function once a year, but they know nothing about me. You guys probably spend more time with me than they do, and genuinely appreciate me and know who I am, which means a lot to me. And I want you all to know that. Appreciate your friends and let them know what they mean to you. This is something Chief and I talked about the other day, letting those that are in our inner circle know what they mean to us. And we are reaching our closing hour here. So, Chief, your closing thoughts.
Yes, we are so quick to be, good friends and call our friends out when they're not doing things that should be up to their expectation. Just like we're good at pointing out to our kids all the shit they didn't clean when we asked them to clean a room. But we have to remind people with that positive message why they're our friend and that we do appreciate and value them because it feels good. It feels nice to be validated. It feels good to be seen for if it's not for the words you're saying, but for the actions you're demonstrating. So anytime I know if I hear that from someone, that makes me feel good or proud. Or if I hear about my kids, it makes me feel really proud. It makes me feel great. So be sure to share that love because people deserve it. There's enough, we use our friends to vent about all the shit that's going on in our life, but I don't think enough times we talk positively about how they're helping us or about the good shit. And I think that it's important to, to remind your friends why they're your friends and that you love them. So be sure you're checking in on your buddies, the real ones, and share the love.
Always share the love. I thank all of you guys for joining us again for Coffee Talk with Sunny and Chief. Again, if there are specific topics you guys want to bring to the table, talk to us about, feel free to reach out to us in our DMs and say, hey, can you talk about this next week? This is something I've been going through. And, I always say, collective thinking, support feels great when you're hearing different perspectives. So we can't solve people's problems, but what we can do is work together and maybe come up with some suggestions. Always lead in love and leave the way for others. Be the change you want to see. Demonstrate what that looks like, even if people don't understand what it is that you're doing. Keep being honest with yourself. Be true to yourself and do the things that bring you happiness, like what I'm doing or what Chief is doing. There's so many. Our friend Lita came in, she's doing something. We're all doing different things, and it's a beautiful thing to see people grow, honestly. Um, So tonight, oh my gosh, today is going to be a great day. It looks like it stopped raining. So maybe, just maybe, I will have sunshine out there and I don't have to use this fake sun. But if you haven't already subscribed, feel free to subscribe. I do have a subscription up. I know Chief has one as well. Follow us on YouTube, our YouTube channels. You know, if anything happens to TikTok, you can always find us there where we can host a live. Of course, we always have our merch. Our merch stores are in our bios. You can find those links there as well. I appreciate every single one of you guys for the love and the ongoing support that you give the SSOF family, give each other. You're always showing up for each other, which is amazing. Thank you for joining us this morning for conversation. Chief, I hope you have a freaking kick ass day.
Thank you. I'm excited. I'm really excited about
Yeah.
it. And hopefully, you guys will hear all about it next Friday on the podcast at 420 Chief on YouTube.
Yep.
Also, 420chief.net. The website's up. It's pretty
Woo,
pretty.
woo.
It's not a 10 out of 10, but it's a 9 out of 10.
Yeah, check out our bios. We have a lot of stuff in there. We have links and all this other good stuff. So tomorrow is Sunday. We will be back for Free for All Sunday tomorrow night, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And Chief will then be back on Thursday for Vibing with Chief for 5 p.m. Central Time. That was actually really great. I'm happy and excited you're doing that. And I'm really super excited to catching your free Fun Fact Friday facts. So, with that being said, Sunny's going to wish you all an amazing day. Keep being the amazing people that you are. And if you need any single one of us, our DMs are always open. Much love to all of you. Have an amazing day. And thanks for showing up once again. We'll see you for Coffee Talk again next Saturday. Much love and much respect. Bye. Peace.